This is the Shepherd Sling, March 2nd, 2023, episode number 78. And we are back in the middle of the underground city Billerine, the biggest city on the planet, Sullustan, underneath the volcanic surface in the gigantic scraped out metropolis and the volcanic cave systems beneath the surface, zooming in further to the busy city streets, as one can see in roll 20, the cityscape of Villarin. Zooming down further, street level, our 5 adventurers gather after Buck and Mookie, aka Colonel Mustard, and Kookie had a conversation with Guy Carey and Cherry Mint at the Soul Glow light bar. Action.
Guys, do you want us to stay out here and just watch the exit and follow anybody?
Vod is on his comms, but he's in the shadows, not far from Ted. He's like, I'm not far away, but I'm watching you. And the door.
No, we'll come out. We're just getting our clothes back on after our little sunlight.
Mookie's gonna hop out of her tanning bed and go put her clothes on, and gonna start walking out the door.
And Buck will do the same.
Was it worth it? Should I get a little soul glow?
I thought it was really nice.
Yeah.
Look what it did to my face.
It's nice, Mookie. It's nice.
You think anyone else is going to come visit the Soul Glow at this point?
I don't know.
I've been thinking here while we've been sitting in the dark. This might have been a missed opportunity, but we'll have more options. But back on Shrieler in the academy, we would plant these electronic devices. I don't know what they called them, but usually pretty small. And we snuck it into people's clothing. Sometimes it was inserted rectally without their knowledge, but we would put these devices that would record sounds and use it as a way to get information, maybe potentially scanning signals. And I'm wondering if we can, it might be we might not have enough time, but maybe Ted could either solder something together, or maybe we can find something on the market. But just putting that out there, if we can sneak something into an employee's bit of clothing, we might be able to gain access to some more information, codes, conversations without actually having to go in. We call it spycraft back in the academy. Have you heard of that before?
I like it.
Spycraft.
Anything that makes it less risky for us to have to go in there again.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, getting this would be good, but I don't know what our chances of are. I don't know how to make one. It would be a small recording device, though. And
would we have to go and find this spy crap?
I think it's probably made. You guys don't have spy stores on the planets you're from. We don't either on Shrieler, but it was an intelligence device that looks like a little piece of something metal, or you could put it in your battle axe, but if we could make the electronics, and I'm just pitching this to you, Ted, or if you guys think the market might have, maybe there's a kid's toy shop that has this also. a really low tech version. But just putting that out there that maybe a recording device, hell, even one of our comms units, just slip it in somewhere. And
I've got this reconnaissance droid that I've been itching to put somewhere too, and it's got a distance limit, but could definitely put it, I could set it to follow somebody at the very least.
well, that's not bad. That's not bad. But more, I'm talking about in the consortium through all the security, just a recording, or
Yeah.
maybe visual. There's other things, but
What if-
I'm going to throw that out there. My brain kind of stopped right there with that idea, but
What if we took
as
the
I was
droid
I
apart?
overheard Mookie and Buck talking on the comms. I'm like, hey, if we could just get this on one of the consortium figures, even Guy or someone similar, we could get some good info. Except for that part about signals don't go out. But whatever, something that records and then we have to maybe reclaim it later. So not one of our comms, I guess.
Mm-hmm. A small recording device. I like that.
How much time do we have until our window, when we think our window is? Now? Is it a day or two?
6 days out till the next signal occurs, we think.
Oh, time's been going real slow then, man.
Well,
You're
maybe we
muted, Luke.
There's got to be something on that droid that you could, maybe make a device, tamper with the droid, maybe make something out of what he has there, put it back together after.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is, who do we target to put a recording device on, and how do we get it back after it's recorded the information? And that'll take time to listen back to it. We could probably speed up the listen back process, but finding someone who's high up enough and in the right situation that might gather information that we need, we have to find that person and concurrently make the device.
And that could be
Yeah.
plan B, with plan A being straight up infiltration. But because there's a lot of who knows what will happen with that type of a plan, but it has a lot less risk, but a lot more unpredictability.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me see if I can hook up this recon remote to an audio recorder. Because potentially I could instead of just transmitting to my headset, I can get it to transmit to this recorder, and then set it to go, and then when we get it back, it'll be able to tell us what it's heard. I'll work on that, but we need to prep for this meeting with Merbert too.
Yeah, I think that's really important because it all fails if we can't get through that checkpoint.
Who would we want to record the most? Would we want to do somebody like the gray jumpsuit, or not gray jumpsuit, but the deputy officer or an officer?
Yeah, the black jumpsuits or the black vests.
Yeah.
I mean, the black jumpsuits would be what sounds like the highest level.
Right.
But
they don't usually leave.
Yeah.
We really out here. We really only have access to laborers.
Well, maybe Merbert knows if he's seen any pass through this station. Because Merbert can tell us potentially who's gone in or out.
Yeah, and I think Merbert might be the most useful person if we find someone that we want to attach us to that could actually attach it on their way through security. Hey, I need to check out your vest or whatever. Put it on there quick. Send him on his way.
Who's Merbert again?
Brandy's cousin.
Oh yeah, he's like the guard. But he's not in the consortium main office. He's like in a parking garage or some shit.
No, he's half useful.
Yeah, half useful.
But he should know a lot about comings and goings, at least out where he's stationed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to what we'll learn from him.
Yeah. If he can tell us how to get in and out regularly without causing an alarm, that would be huge.
Mm-hmm.
When are we supposed to meet him? In like later this afternoon?
Yeah,
I think so.
afternoon. Yep.
Okay.
Well, do we want to maybe scout out and do a little recon at the main doors? See what kind of people are coming in and out?
Yeah.
I like that idea.
I think we said we'd do that at one point. Because we know, I mean, obviously we know laborers are the ones getting in and out. And now we know that they only need these cards really to get scanned and be let through. However, we know that they're also being shipped kind of to their designated spots. They don't really get free reign. So like starting to get a picture of what these laborers are doing, maybe we'll get lucky and, find someone who works on comms or something like that. Maybe that's going to be the hard part. It's like finding anyone who has any sort of access to anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be happy to post up with a mop and a cleaning bucket, squeegeeing some windows and stuff, and listen, because we've only come close on our ship. But I could certainly stand by, and if we have a communication device, I could plan it and wait all day till they come out. But that's I don't think they come out unless they want the soul treatment. They kind of stay there. So a random employee might be a gamble. I don't know which way they're going. It could be
right.
We want an officer, but I'm happy to post up out there. If
we can get a view of, if we see people who look like, janitors and that kind of thing, and I don't know what clues we might see, or like people bringing in and out equipment, and it'd be like, oh, that guy is must work on some electrical, components. Like maybe he's getting into some more areas that would be off limits than the janitor or the cook. I don't know.
Yeah, an electrician type repair person would make more sense if we're trying to get access to computers.
Yeah.
And I guess that brings us back to, do we want to getting inside is looking for what information? There's the signal that is received and sent to one of the comm towers, 100 comm towers, one of the 100, and we have the ventilation shafts. Are we expecting that we're going to make a run for a ventilation shaft comm tower, or we're going to come in from above? Because there's what information from the inside do we need, or do we just need to be there when the signal comes to maybe intercept it and boogie back out the front door, relay it to someone on the way so they can go to the comms where I'm not even sure what the hell we're doing.
Well,
here's what I was thinking is, if we have the Dewey stationed at the parking lot, we get into the central computer unit, and we delete out one ship and then slip in the Dewey. If we have the Dewey then maybe automatically programmed, when we'll have it automatically programmed to pilot itself to the docking bay, then we all get on at that point. So nobody needs to be in the Dewey. That we can all, because I think we're going to need 2 people at working computers.
Are you talking after we're all safely away from the consortium?
I'm saying we. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, there's a 24-hour span of time between when the signal is sent and when the arrival happens.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't think we have to worry about that. I think the other issue with that is that the Dwayne currently doesn't have capability for unpiloted flight. Yeah.
Okay.
Where did we land on? I thought we were kind of in agreement a little bit on potentially just riding another ship, hiding, maybe stowing away. I thought was kind of what our go-to option was, unless things went awry, and then we take over the ship and just act as if we're the crew. As opposed to we could paint our ship and go through all of that, but that would be a lot of risk having our own ship in there.
Well, we've talked about too. It almost seems less risky if we're on an unknown ship, we don't know what kind of weaponry they have, and we end up in a firefight. We might be in a worse position if we don't have our own stuff.
Well, and that's the other thing is I feel like it's a 50-50. We never see the ships leaving, the same ones leaving that are coming in. So I feel like it's a 50-50 whether we'll even exit with the same ship, you know? So
You mean
are we going to enter with a ship and then fly another one out,
no?
or wait 10 days?
I thought what we decided was that if we were able to change the signal at the tower, so people at Central Command relay a message to get the information about what tower is being sent from Cyrus Bund, and then relay that message to whoever's going through the tunnels to the tower, because they're ray shielded, we have to come from underneath. And then that person on the tower is able to access and change the message so that the message can then say, you can come in and this is what ship is going to pick up the cargo from you, and match that to the Dewey's transponder, or, set up the Dewey as the outgoing. And then we are in the Dewey or some other ship. We can just get that information and change it if we need to.
Wait, so we think that the signal
Listen to Rigel.
coming in is not just the code or the coordinates for where to go. It is which ship is the coming into the like who to send, basically. That's what's determining the ship's going out. It's not just the code. So we can actually change it because it's not just a location. In my head, I thought these unknown ships were coming in and the command center was sending a location or something, but it's maybe what ships are going.
Yeah, that's my thought was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we want Buck in there, because he has the power to change it at that satellite.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then do we need to send someone up through the Magna rail tubes from the command center, or can we come in with the Dewey or some other ship through that open gate in that secure parking spot we found and get through past those Magna droids?
It's one way. It's only a one way to get in. You can't get back in. You have to go through the inside, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it would be pretty messy. I mean, if we could somehow set it up where some person cleanly took the place of a comms officer and did everything that comms officer was supposed to do, except the message could be changed, and then leave when that comms officer is shifted out, that would be not disrupting anything. But we would have to have all of the knowledge of what that comms officer has to do in the routine, and make sure we have all the documentation and all the checkpoints are flawless.
Generally, I would say this is my territory, but I don't know if you guys have noticed, since we've been killing a lot of them, but the Empire is kind of speciesist against, they tend to be mostly humans. So, I don't think this Weequay, and I know we're thought of as thugs and brutes and whatever, put your name on it. But I don't think I'm going to fly as a high-ranking Imperial / Consortium intelligence officer unless I get a really good makeup job. But even then, I have a certain smell, so I think that might be a problem for me. I don't know if I'm actually the person here to do the infiltration, though I would love to.
Well, yeah, and I mean, there's also the issue of like with a 15-minute lead time from finding out what tower it is. Like, we would have to like try and say, "Hey, comms officer buddy, you've been relieved early" or something, because there's going to be probably somebody in that tower whose job it is to handle that message already.
In the actual
We could get some
satellite tower or in
Yeah,
the
in the
we
satellite
could get
tower.
some sleep
That's 'cause-
sleep stab stuff, a little poison,
yeah, Buck
just a
was
little
that was
sleepy
our
poison.
plan, I think.
Oh,
wasn't it?
right, the Beatrix route.
Which causes another wrinkle.
Episode 75.5.
Which causes another wrinkle of then if they're asleep, are they going to wake up and miss their transport because they're asleep or something? You know.
Right.
Well, once they're asleep, though, they have arteries that you can, you can get. I can show you how to do it with your fingernail. It's cool.
Nice. I just
Yeah,
need to
I'm
add
still
the Beatrix route.
I'm still wondering if it's smarter to take, undercover as someone of authority or someone who's going to be there and unnoticed more. If it's like a cleaning crew guy, I'm here to, do some cord maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
To be in
Right.
and out.
I like that
You know,
idea.
and
If you
like,
did that, Buck.
Because, yeah, I think that ruse might. The officer route would raise some questions. Like, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know.
Well, because you can't just have one, because we need to have a minimum of 2 people infiltrating. Because one has to be the one going up and waiting at the tubes, and the other one has to be going to the main central command, right? So we need to have probably one person doing that and another person that has access to central command.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we need to get inside beforehand so we can actually not have to wing the whole thing, right? We can get an idea of what are we looking at, who goes into central command, how do we get in? I think we need to figure that out in the next 6
Central
days.
command, yeah.
I can be a janitor.
I'm thinking we could almost like, if we had a way to get out, we could like a couple of us could go in as janitors, even, and like as long as we have a way to get into command, we can relay a message. As soon as we figure out what tower it is, relay up a message that there's a crew expected to do some spot cleaning on a on a tower that had some maintenance issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So how about this? What do you guys think of this? So we'll talk to Merritt, yeah.
Merbert.
And Merbert. What's his name? I'm terrible
Merbert.
with names. Talk to Merbert and ask him first off, what type of janitors is he seeing janitors, or what does he think would be the best, a route for us? And if so, does he see only humans, or does he think that Vod would be able to pass as one of them? Because ideally, we'd like to have him going with Mookie. And then we watch him during his shift and have him kind of target what people they are, so that the next day we can grab their cards, knock them out, we go in instead of them day of. What do you think of that?
Brilliant. Yes.
Are those is the plan to impersonate the workers, the janitorial staff or custodial staff, and then split so that one group goes towards the satellite tower and one group goes to central command?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
If we're keeping it simple, I think that would be the way to go, rather than like one's trying to be officers and then the other one's trying to be custodial. We could do that, but it might be overly complicated.
Cool.
And who knows, we may be able to, he may tell us more info that, we're just splitting hairs here, that we're just guessing, maybe we, I don't know if we're going to have a plan until we talk to him.
Well, should we go talk to Merbert?
Melvin, Marvin.
Merbert. I thought we had set up an appointment with him, so we don't want to keep him waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is. I mean, it's morning. I think we said late afternoon before we meet with them. So we could do some quick things too. In the meantime, do you want to do any more reconnaissance?
I might take a nap, guys.
Maybe we should check out the front door, so to speak.
You want to fly up to the consortium source combo entrance and hang out?
Yeah, just see what's going on. You might get a little bit more information about the security.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe we should try to acquire some, some of the gray suits, the jumpsuits, so we don't look too suspicious hanging around.
Yeah, I should probably have left my Vibroax back on the doorway too. These big gauntlets, I look kind of funny out here.
I'll go and see if I can find enough things to put together some sort of recording device, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go shopping, or you're gonna take the recording device that Buck already owns, or?
Oh, Buck's got a recording device?
Yeah.
I do.
Buck, well, maybe we can use that in case we need to bug somebody.
Buck's got a camcorder looking thing.
That's right. Let's see here.
Buck has an audio recording device.
It is audio or audio and video.
How big is it? Is it smaller than a bread box? I don't know
small.
what a bread box is, but
just like a little tiny can fit in my hand.
Okay.
I think.
Let's look at you own the concealed recorder?
Concealed recorder. Yeah.
Yeah. Encumbrance 0.
Encumbrance 0.
Well, that sounds like just what we need.
Yeah, Ted, I'm not saying it needs to fit inside a rectum. That was back in the Hook War, early Civil War days, but something pretty small. What's so funny, Mookie? You even have a rectum?
Well, I'm certainly certainly open to using it as long as it's hopefully coming back and we can get some valuable information. Well, maybe we can talk to Merbert. Maybe he knows of a few people that get in, that come his way, that at least get up in the areas that we'd be trying to get to. Maybe not all the way, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's do this. Let's, Ted, if you want to go look to see how to create something, great, so we don't lose Buck's equipment. If nothing else, if it fails, Buck has his recorder. Buck, let's go hang out while Ted's working on that and maybe just head to the entrance. And if we see an opportunity where you want to stick your smaller than a bread box sized recording equipment with whatever battery life you think it might hold into someone, we can do that, or just turn it on. Let's just go and see what happens. We go hang out. I could bring some of the cleaning equipment in the closet from the Dewey and mop like a son of a gun. You know, let's just kind of do it until we have to meet with Merbert.
I like.
All opposed, keep your mouth shut.
Let's do it.
Cool.
Perfect. Roquan's going to take a snoozer.
I get nervous before these social interactions. I'm gonna try and just pass the day away.
We could probably use you if you want to come here, and I'll show you how to use a squeegee. It's not.
I'm nervous about. I'm not sure.
I knew
Is
that
it an
was
innuendo?
I knew that was coming. No. If you have the right mixture of ammonium, water, and soap, you can do it without streaks. And leave your buttocks shiny. I got you there.
I always get nervous when you start mixing chemicals in the Dewey. I mean, if you guys think you could use me, I'll come with. I mean, that's got nothing on the agenda.
All right.
Yeah, you should come with. You never know what we're gonna see or learn.
Okay, but you might be holding me up.
We didn't invite you, Mookie. You really look weird out here. Just saying. It's not me. I'm just saying, there's a lot of these pancake-faced guys. Sorry, Sullustans. There's the Empire. You stand out.
I
like a
think
sore
they
thumb.
frown upon pancake face.
Yeah.
I saw a guy in a bar get real upset about that.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I'll keep that under wraps. Well, we all look pretty weird, honestly, so why not?
Let's go. All right,
Mookie could
let's do
pose
it.
as a street artist. Can you juggle, Mookie?
I don't know if I'm that coordinated.
So where are you headed there?
To the entrance of Sorosub Consortium. I think that underground hanging stalactite command center. Yeah.
Yeah, there's and you guys are like, what are you guys wearing right now? Are you in like your full like combat regalia, or are you in civilian outfits? What are you wearing?
Vod
I'm-
is wearing padded armor, and I think he has the I forget the clothes we got from Jaliv, but he would like stretch that over the top of his padded armor. Or sorry, no, he puts it on underneath and has padded. Hell, he takes off the padded armor. He just is wearing the outfit from Jaliv closet
Okay.
and
So
does
Vod-
not bring his really pretty naked. Doesn't bring his axe.
You look like this.
Yeah.
All right.
But with a Weequay face.
Yep.
He's going very much not. I don't have basically most of what I have on my character sheet is not on me. I have my brass knuckles. That's it on my fist.
The rest of you are wearing.
Mookie's left her her IDX 9 ion stunner. It's on the Dewey. She's carrying with her
On the
slice.
Dewey or at the
Farmhouse.
hideout.
Maybe the compound, I guess.
Okay.
She is carrying her med pack and her slicer gear, and she's wearing the Sullustan gear, the clothing from Jaliv.
Yep, Ted'll
Okay.
switch into Sullustan jumpsuit at the safe house and leave behind weapons.
Buck,
Yeah, well, so I'll go jumpsuits. How many did we have?
jumpsuits. 5
Enough for
he
everybody.
had.
Yeah. Yep.
And Roquan, rifle, stormtrooper outfit.
No, I'm gonna stick to the body glove. I'm not gonna bring any weapons or anything, but I don't like those jumpsuits. They chafe.
You're just wearing a body glove.
Oh yeah, it's skin tight.
All right.
Ted will bring his Hydra spanner and recon remote, along with some other things in his backpack, but leave behind his repulsor pack and armor and gun.
All right. And perfect. And how are you guys? How are you getting to this place?
Did we walk to meet Cyrus Bunn? Is that, or I guess it's a different place, huh?
Cyrus Bunn, you met at a you took a cab to the Laquana Hotel when you originally did your science thing, and then you similar to the Buckthorn where you met him for your drink and heist introduction.
And the Ares is with the Dewey again.
It's in the trunk of the Dewey, up at the floating on the docking bay lily pads, of which there's tons of them above Sullustan. You
Ted,
took an Airbus down.
Are you staying on the ship to work on that comms unit and be our little chauffeur? Or
no, I don't think I have the
you.
right stuff to make that in time. I'm gonna stick
right
with you guys. If we need to use an audio recorder, I mean, we'll use Bucks and replace it.
Yeah. Well, let's just call an Uber, taxi. Park the Dewey nearby and take a cab.
But the place we want to
there's got to be public transportation.
Remember, you're not worrying about the Dewey. The Dewey's like parked way up high. You took an Airbus down to this underground city. The Dewey is very far away from you right now.
Let's just take an Airbus or a bus back up.
And we've seen, so this entrance where right is Consortium, left is Source Sub, right? That's what we're going to go look at. We already know it's on like an elevated platform, docking bay type thing. That must be pretty big. I assume if this is where all the people come to go to work.
Yep.
Right. I mean, did it look like a place where someone could land and loiter? Or would be like, well, we're gonna get there and we're gonna immediately be like jumped on by security because there's like we would have seen a little bit of this, I think, right?
You did. You drove on at the cab, and you guys did a flyby from like long distance away, and Buck did a scan where he like noted the train line coming in from Sub, and noted that there was like the stalactite kind of coming down, one of them that is kind of Sub's stalactite. Then there's the other stalactite coming down that was like the Consortium's stalactite. And then there was kind of the skyway between them, and kind of in front of the skyway there was a big like platform, kind of quasi teardrop shape that came out where workers were kind of flowing in to the main entrance that's kind of on that connecting skyway. You would have seen like cars coming up, like dropping people off, flying away, Airbuses pulling up, people getting out. But there was definitely like people were getting out with intent of walking towards the entry. That's what you'd have seen. But you were pretty far away. I don't know if you had any more like specifics on what you saw. It's a place you definitely can go to. What the security presence is and whatnot, I don't know if you've quite figured that out, but it's the main entrance of a intergalactic organization.
I've been picturing that there is a large public space just outside of a door that is the entrance.
Yep.
It might not be very large because it might be that there's nothing else there. Maybe there are shops and stuff, but some sort of a public platform and then a door. Is that the case? Is it
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's what I would say. 1 second. Let's see if I've got a move. Kind of got 1 second here. See if I can help you guys out with this.
Yeah, I guess, did we see more like a parking lot where, speeders are parked? Or is it strictly like you
Kind of
get there,
drop.
you get out,
You're
and
seeing
you
like
leave?
you're
There's
seeing
got to
like
be
people
good
getting
public transportation.
dropped off.
Yeah.
Kind of dropped off. So we'll take you to let's take you to Roll20. Help you guys out here with visualizing this.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is your GM's attempt at kind of like drawing some of this schematic and including
Can you we're seeing I'm seeing just a corner of it.
I just zoom out maybe.
Oh, it's me. Never mind. Nope, it's still a corner of it.
Yeah, I'm having the same issue. I don't know if that's
Oh,
intentional.
I see. You're revealing it bit by bit.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not like you guys don't have everything. So I'm using this map to show you
That's
what you
good.
guys know so far.
Yeah.
Flip a destiny.
And so
No, that's good. That's good.
So what we're talking about right now is kind of the landing pad main entrance. You guys see me identifying that?
Mhm.
All right.
Yep.
Pretend that what I'm circling right now is coming at you, and it's a large, like floating, docking pad that's shaped like a teardrop, with the top of the tier kind of tapering towards what you guys have seen as kind of like the main entryway right there. You guys have seen enough to know, and you heard Bund actually gave you like handouts of this stuff, but there's the main entry concourse where if you worked from Sorosub, you'd come through this door and then kind of begin your process through Sorosub. You recall that if you come through this door and you work for a consortium, there was a secondary door that you needed to get through to get into like kind of the consortium area. One thing that you recall that Buck showed you guys at the cabin with a Triumph was there's a train system that came in from kind of a little bit below. So it's kind of below, the train system's kind of below this docking pad. And what Buck was able to identify was from that train system, it looked like there were escalators, these red lines, going up kind of in their own right. One was kind of it looked like it was going up to the main concourse area here. And another one looked like it was going up to this area of the consortium. Buck was able to see that. You guys did go to where this train system ends at the cabin, and you eyeballed it, and you noticed that there was some kind of segregation happening where they were kind of putting some people on the right and some people on the left of the train from the guard area. And you noted that, seemingly showing that potentially there may be some pre-screening occurring in the train system that you guys discovered that. You saw that. And that's kind of what you guys have learned about the main entrance so far, mainly at the cabin. You guys figured that stuff out. And so this place that you guys are talking about, like to go and scope out what you can see, kind of a place that it looks like you can get to. The two places you can like get to without having to like deal with someone like letting you through a door is kind of the, the main landing pad. And then, the far end of this train system in Sullustan, where you've kind of watched the docking area of that. Yeah. Yeah, those were the two escalators that Buck saw. He saw this one and this one leading out of the train system. Oh, you saw you just saw they just kind of went to they look like they just went to the areas, kind of in these main concourses.
Yeah. So so looking at this, if we're gonna go recon there, point being like seeing who's coming and going, that kind of thing. What kind of workers might be a good maybe disguise for us to use, that kind of thing. It seems kind of risky to even go look. If we can, plus we don't know if anyone's gonna be coming and going, right? Would it be better to kind of observe the train system more, or who's getting on the trains? Because another thing I was wondering about, like, if we're planning a disguise to get in here as a laborers, it'd be good to know a scope of what kind of laborers are going in and out. Because, like, if cleaning crews don't exist in the consortium because it's all done by droids, and we're walking in, hey, we're the cleaning crew. Like, we don't have cleaning crews here,
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to observe what kind of people are coming in and out, maybe we don't really need to go up to that landing pad because it's more of just a bus stop, and we might not see anything anyway. I don't know. What do you think?
That's
God,
true.
but-
I mean, it's all information that we'll get from Merbert anyway.
Right.
You'd be a
And-
high-level
and-
officer in the academy with that sort of brilliance. I mean it.
One type of laborer that goes in.
That's right.
Ye.
Hairstylist.
Nail and hair salon. Okay.
And he came in and out with escorts too. So
Gee.
yeah. So maybe posing as a cleaning crew wouldn't work out so well.
I know.
Remember what she told you? She was like, if officers kind of have free reign of
They have free
everything.
Yeah.
The laborers kind of have a set path that they're kind of like more, they're kind of looked at more and kind of escorted to their location, and there's not a lot of crossover. She had told you that.
I still think if we carry a ladder, we can get just about anywhere. Mookie, god damn it.
Who wants to go talk to Merbert?
You don't do that.
We still have a lot of hours, don't we?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think this.
Oh,
took
it's
a
one or the
while.
other.
You've
Oh
been
yeah,
talking
let's.
for an hour.
I think this took a while.
All right. Okay, so can we divide and conquer? This was a kill our time sort of situation where we're like, oh, we're waiting. Let's just hover. But can we do a divide and conquer, or can we say it's Merbert time?
We can do Merbert time.
Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't.
If you wanted to do anything, I mean, you had said you were going to go fly and look at the landing pad, but then we kind of drew it out again, and I don't know if that's what you still want to do.
I think we have enough time. We have 6 days. I mean, we could talk to Merbert and then check it out tomorrow if we still think we need to with the extra info. Does that
Sure.
make sense?
I'm surrounded by genius. You guys are amazing.
You're so
Mhm.
complimentary today.
Tell me where to go, what hat to put on. I'll even be a hair salon stylist if that's my in. You guys are good. Yeah. Let's go see Merbert.
Let's go.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Do we all want to go? I mean,
Yes,
Yeah,
you all want to go. Go.
you don't think he's gonna feel like we're ganging up on him, do you?
If he does, we'll beat him up.
All right, Buck. I'll follow your lead.
Do that.
All right. So you guys are headed to Merbert's. He lives where?
Is this a GM pop quiz?
I'm just pop quizzing.
outside the
Just-
garage, or he works in the
I think
garage.
We thought he
what,
lived nearby.
what town does he live in?
Nearby his station. there.
Sub
Yep.
Sorrow.
He lives on Sullustan.
Full of sub.
We're going to Sullustan.
Full of sub.
And your contacts there right now are people you
Spanning-
know their names. Mhm.
Spanning, the shop attendant.
Yep.
Jewel.
Jules and Port, the baby.
Yep. Very good. All right. And let's say you go. So your connection is Spannin and Jewel and Port at the garage called.
Numbnuts.
Yep. So do you want to go there?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go to Numbnuts Garage, and you're met playing in the middle of the floor of the garage is Jewel doing like the thing where she's like holding Port by his hands and like he's like practicing walking. Oh, good! And she takes her hands and Port's like, and then he falls on his butt and he laughs a little bit and she like picks him up. And so you come up to the garage and you see that going on.
oh, little guy's taking some steps.
Buck, it's good to see you.
You too. We're here to hopefully meet up with Mr. Merbert.
Merbert, yeah, sure. He should be done by about now. I told him you were interested in meeting him, Buck. Your friends would like to go too?
Yeah, we'd like to all go.
Wonderful. Well, come on, I'll take you to his place. And like she puts Port in a little holder carrier on her front, and she grabs a little bottle of green milk that she gives him as she's walking, and she sets out at a pace up the block. She goes up a couple blocks. Remember, this is full of sub, so it's a little it looks a little bit grittier, definitely more bohemian in appearances. You guys in your kind of your standard Sullustan suits would be noticing that a lot of people are have like patches all over their suits, and they have various like technicolor colors in their under in their onesies, lots of like piercings and facial tattoos and things like that of the Sullustans walking around, and you guys are a bit of a sight as you're walking in 5 uniforms following this lady with the baby, and she takes you down an alley and then into a main street and up a kind of a fire escape of stairs, and tick, 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 knocks on the door, and Sullustan comes to the door wearing just kind of casual Sullustan gear, and she says, "Merbert, this is Buck and his friends, and these were the people that were wanting to talk with you." And Merbert says, "Sure, Jewel, let them in. Well, come on in, fellas." And he opens the door and lets you into his apartment. And it's a small apartment. It's I'll pull you over on roll 20, and welcome. The name's Merbert Crumb. Who are
Howdy,
you?
Herbert.
Nice to meet you, Merbert. My name's Buck. These are my friends here. You guys
I'm
can
Merbert.
introduce
Buck?
yourself.
Shakes your hand.
Do you mind if we all come in?
Sure, it's not too big of an apartment, but I imagine there's some crates and chairs. You're welcome to pull up something. Take a seat. Take a load off.
Are you a musician there, Herbert?
Yeah, that's my Yigar. I've been learning it.
Oh, nice. We heard this great band. They were using a flumperloon or something like that. Have you played that ever?
Oh, I've heard flumperloons. Yeah, that's not always kind of loud and squawky. Those get pretty loud. They're kind of harsh on my ears. But I've heard flumperloon music. Sure. Squeeba. Have you heard of them?
Oh, Weeba? Oh.
Squeeba.
Squeeba. No,
Yeah,
no.
they're from Piran City. They actually they're mainly Yigar driven, but they have some flumperloon players in their band. But yeah, it's pretty screechy.
They playing around here one of these nights? We're in town for a few days.
Oh, they were playing a couple nights ago. They opened for Yatka. That
love
DJ.
Yatka.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Squeeba opened for him.
Merbert, you've got
yeah.
you've got a nice pad here, Merbert. You got some
Thanks.
drinks. You've got a nice look. You've got one of my favorite novels called Cyberpink up there. I love this. You got a sweet setup and a nice view.
Yeah. Thanks.
We're friends of Jules and Port, and I think we know another member of your family. What was his name, Ted? Brandy?
Brandy.
You know Brandy?
Yeah, I met Brandy on Farstein.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't. Well, I think Jewel had mentioned that actually, that you had talked to him.
I don't know. Did we tell Jewel? I don't know if we told Jewel, but
I don't think we told Joel. Don't think we told Joel.
yeah,
At least about what happened to him.
Yeah.
You knew. I'm going to assume that you haven't told Jewel. You knew Brandy?
Yeah. I met Brandy just in passing. He seemed pretty upset.
He's doing great though. He's doing great. You know.
You've seen him?
Oh yeah, he's in good spirits.
Don't lie to the man.
Oh, that's good to hear. Oh, that's so good to hear. You don't know how good that is to hear. And he walks up to Roquan, and he puts his hands on his shoulders, and he's like, and he's even you can even tell his like eyes are getting a little weepy, misty. And he's like, I've been waiting to hear that for about a year. Tell me, how is he?
Well, he's a lousy musician. Probably not anything like you, but he told me he needed another hobby, and that kind of just filled the gap, whatever that was. So.
You talked to him?
Oh, just in passing.
Where did you see him? Where did you see him last?
Buck knows
You
the
must
story
tell
better
me.
than I do. Buck knows the story better than
It was
me.
Ted. Ted had the conversation. Hey, what do you think of the ending of Cyberpunk?
But no, just a second. No. He's doing well?
I mean, he was smiling, so I think so.
Roquan, I can't lie to the man.
Shut up.
What you?
Merbert.
All right, Roquan, you're gonna take 3 conflict for that.
What 3? That's what I'm going for.
Pathological liar.
Just
Just bullshitting.
What? Oh, you what?
We can't
lying?
get in.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying about him?
He wanted to save your emotions, but sorry, your cousin.
Who are these people, Jewel? Why? What is you came here to bring me news of my cousin?
Yeah. Well, he didn't like the consortium. He didn't like working for him. So he gave me a jumpsuit, and his jumpsuit and his badge, and he just walked out into the toxic atmosphere on Farstein, and I'm sorry to have to tell you.
But Ted,
I tried to stop him.
There was that thing he did for you too, where you guys talked about the consortium, and he gave you that pack of death sticks, and he wanted you to sabotage the consortium as his last wish or something.
Oh yeah. He didn't like him, and he wanted us to mess the consortium up. He wanted us to take him down.
And Jewel is like weeping quietly in the corner, and Merbert walks over and puts his arm around her shoulders. It's yeah, I know. It's as we feared. That pale one had our hopes up, but yeah, I know. It's okay. Yeah. That's what we thought. So you have come to bring us this message that you saw my cousin die.
Yeah. And I think we wanted to just meet you, and we didn't actually know when we walked into Numbnuts if who any of you were, Jewel, but I went back to our place last night and thought about it and kind of put 2 and 2 together. So that's why we didn't tell you yesterday, but I feel like it's only right to tell you today. I'm sorry.
Well, this is heavy news right at the end of a long shift. Oh boy. Well, I guess I appreciate you fellas coming by to bring that information. We had wondered. And you saw him go. You haven't seen him since.
Yeah, that's right.
What was your connection on Farstein? How did you two know each other?
We just met in a bar, and he looked down, and we just got to talking, and I tried to convince him to not do it, and to work, and change, to be against the consortium if he really didn't believe in it, but he wouldn't listen to me.
Yeah, well, Well, that's how that was my feeling that's how it was kind of going. It felt like with him. I had served with him on a transport freighter for the consortium for a few years. You know, I was doing cargo and inventory, and he was running the books. And then I left. I left to come back here, and he kept working for the consortium. But the last few times we spoke, I could tell he was not very happy. Not very happy anymore. So you just knew him in passing, and you've just met Jewel here in passing.
Yeah, it was a coincidence.
Well, I appreciate you letting us know what happened to Brandy. He was like an older brother to me.
Well, that's not the only reason we've come to talk. I mean, I brought his badge here.
Jewel, look. Oh, she gets choked up.
But Buck, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about what we need.
Okay, yeah. Sorry to bring this sad news, but obviously this consortium is doing this to people, like your loved one here that Ted met. We are no fans of the consortium and their operations. How do you feel about? I mean, you work for them. Are people happy there? Is this just a job for you? I'm just kind of curious because we'd like to know more about what goes on here at the consortium.
Let's see how he's gonna react to this. Okay. Let's do a charm. Is a charm fair?
Sure.
Let's do a charm, and we're gonna go. Things in this social encounter are gonna go against Merbert's discipline. And so his discipline is YGG, and so social rolls against him would be rolled against the difficulty of RPP.
Okay.
And let's see kind of how this initial foray into kind of discussing his thoughts and the consortium and things like that go. Sure. I want you to take a boost because he is initially, you know, there is some initial trust that I think is still there regarding like Jewel wanting to introduce these people. I also want you to take a setback because he's still kind of reeling from what the way the conversation went, where one of you was like, he's alive and well and he's great, and then another one was like, he's dead, and he's kind of like, who are you? What's going on? So he's a little confused right now as to what's happening. Let's yep.
Okay. And yeah, I think his angle is just like I said, is he gonna be willing to like risk maybe some of his job and that sort of thing to maybe help us get to learn some things? So
exactly, and I think I think depending on how this roll goes, I think we're gonna learn some clues.
Okay, I get to remove a setback and let's kill with kindness.
Are you wearing your whole regalia?
No, I'm just wearing a jumpsuit, and that's really all that comes into effect on this roll. So there's that.
Excellent.
And I get to add an
Um,
advantage. I get 4 advantage. Oh, sorry.
Excellent. So
I did.
four success, 4 advantage.
Yep.
All right. And your question was kind of what's your angle with the
Yeah. What's your
consortium,
deal, man?
Herbert?
How do you feel about losing family members and not knowing anything about them? And wouldn't you maybe like to help some guys who are maybe looking to learn more about the secret organization for unknown reasons at this point? Kind of a thing. Because we haven't told them really anything what we're up to yet, but yeah.
Well, as you bring news of Brandy to me, come here, but come here. I want to show you this. And he walks you across his room, and he opens up like a small drawer underneath one of his desks, and he pulls this out, and he hands this to you. And it's a letter. And as you have come bringing news of Brandy to me, I appreciate that. And how do I feel about the consortium, you ask? Well, it is complex. It is deep. Let me show you this from the last letter I received from Brandy. And he hands you this. It's in Rogue One.
Okay, I was just gonna.
Merbert, I hope this letter finds you well. I know what Sorasub means to you. I know what it meant to your father. May his soul rest easily. As my father and my grandfathers before, Sorasub has been our lifeblood, our mother planet deity. However, the unholy alliance it presently maintains with the Empire, the toxic consortium. The consortium, Merbert, beware. Atrocities. I have seen pristine worlds reduced to waste and decay. For what? Ore, energy, money, slaves. Lothal, Jellican, Lasan. I know you cannot find these stories on the holonet, but my eyes have seen. I have seen all that I can see. I can watch no more. You have been a brother. I wish you all the happiness life can bring. If your path lies with Sorasub, if your path lies with the consortium, know that I understand where your heart is coming and where you must go, though perhaps I pray you can go as a vehicle of good. Take this. It is a methane xenonite crystal from the frozen Farstinian lakes of Perd. And I love you, cousin, Brandy. And in the room, that's in the room as you're reading that note, I Merbert shows this to you, and it's this chartreuse kind of glowing crystal, and on it etched in Orabesh is the phrase, "We will be known forever by the tracks we leave." This, and Merbert turns to you, this was the last I heard from Brandy. And you can feel it, right? The warning, the consortium. But I work for the consortium. That's how I make my money. And I've worked for Sorosub since I was very young as a courier at transport. Then I joined the Sorosub National Guard, and out of that, got this job with the consortium as a transit guard. I'd love to work my way up, become a central guard someday. They pay well. It's a prestigious life here on Solus. But I don't know. I've heard these things. Brandy, Ted, you told me he killed himself because of how he felt about the consortium.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the rumors you may have heard about, the evil things the consortium is doing, it's all true. And it's all true.
I mean, and Brandy hasn't even mentioned the research they're doing on, viruses and making, illnesses that could sweep the galaxy. I had it myself. I was.
What?
Yeah, we had to go on a very long mission to try and cure me, but we thankfully did.
That must have been a really long mission.
It was, and several other people, but they got cured. But it was work that the consortium was doing for the Empire.
Show him the bite marks, Ted.
Oh yeah, right here on my thigh.
What got you?
Oh, it was another person who was infected. Yeah, they weren't really people anymore.
Created by
Oh
Soros.
my word.
Yeah.
Sorry, created by the
Soros?
consortium. No. Created by the consortium,
Yeah.
the conglomeration of Sorosub and the Empire.
Yeah.
It's really the Empire. The consortium's just a hand, one hand of the Empire.
You're right.
Oh my word. And I want to have Ted and Vod. I just want to kind of see how he's reacting to this news. Let's do a combined charm check.
With
we're so
Ted
charming.
or Buck? Ted and Buck?
Ted
or
and
Ted
Vod.
and Vod?
Ted and
Oh,
Vod.
okay.
The last two people just
Yeah. A charm check?
Charm check. Take a boost from the previous the knowing of Jewel, and yeah.
Any setbacks for the fart Vod had let off when Buck was talking? No. Cool.
You say
Forget.
average?
He's RPP.
Oh, RPP. And then Vod doesn't have any ranks, right? And what's
Charm?
your presence? 2? Okay,
2.
I got a 3, so here we go. Come on. 3 advantage. We did not charm him.
But he didn't.
That is
smell.
So the 3 advantage. We were talking about the consortium.
Yep.
The things that they did. He's almost like these are almost like too unbelievable for him to be like consortium's making poison and venomous. That's impossible. There's no way that's what they're doing. But well, but they have done things. And I know they have the capacity for bad. I guess, you know, you've heard that they refuse to give any of the pension money to Jewel or Port.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wanted to get in there and
They haven't
change that too.
really.
Yeah.
How would you do that?
Do you happen to have a consortium computer available to you? Maybe we
This
could.
is our small mouthless friend Mookie. Sorry,
Mookie, it's good to meet you.
Yeah, a Mookie.
Don't let her touch you with your.
Maybe we
fingers.
could fix this pension issue if we had access to a consortium computer.
Like, do you have access to a consortium computer?
I'm asking you if you have access to a consortium.
I just have the remote data pads that they use to contact us. I don't have anything in the mainframe.
Okay.
The main central. Whew, I would have been half attempted to do that. Well, no, I can't. I wouldn't.
Well, Merbert, maybe with those 3 advantage, you can tell us how we would get in and out of the consortium without raising any suspicion.
Like how you sneak in and out of the consortium?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. That would, if word got out that I did that, that would cost me my job.
Well, you don't have to do anything. Could be at a completely different location, but maybe just sharing some of your knowledge about how one would do that.
But that, I'm next in line for a promotion to Central Guard.
Merbert, you're misunderstanding. You will not be connected. You don't need to. I'm not going to cut off your fingers for your fingerprints here or anything. We're just talking about how would one do that. You don't need to be connected. Unless you want to be because of the principle of the thing.
And so right now I'm just mechanically I'm trying to do a social combat here where you have not reduced his strain threshold to a point that he's willing to start acquiescing things. And the you know I can I don't know if I'm ready to tell you how someone would sneak into the consortium. I can show you a map of the layout of the consortium, what I can access.
Let us present to you our friend and leader Buck. He's brought us through many trials and tribulations with the consortium. He knows and understands better than any of us how dire this situation is. And when he's done, I would like to talk to you about the ending of Cyberpink, that book you've got. But until then, Buck.
Yeah, it's a good book. Yeah. He goes, well, have you read the end of it?
Yeah, did you like the part where is it like a dream or not? And if you enter the whole like kind of you join the system or you don't, yeah, we'll talk later. Buck,
Sure.
will you
It's good.
tell him
I just read it.
kind of how what situation we're up against? I think he deserves to know.
Yes, Mr. Merbert. Your livelihood, people who work at the consortium, these people like you are really where our interests lie. A little bit about us. We kind of work in secret. We're trying to help people and help people like you. We don't want you to lose your job, but you're kind of our only hope right now because we're on a limited time basis. And your help would be astronomically helpful to us. But we need to know everything you know about what goes on inside that place. And we're not looking to disrupt anything. We want to get inside, poke around, and leave without anyone knowing, just to gain some intelligence. And the better we do that no one loses their job, no one finds out about it, is to hopefully talk to you for some better knowledge, because at this point that place is on lockdown. We don't know anything about it. And there are people out there just like your cousin who are miserable. They're consortium. They're seeing these things that your cousin saw, and they don't have the power to stop it. We do.
Well, and he's scratching his chin and he's considering your words. And let's roll another charm check. RPP. Take a boost.
Roll and roll one again.
It's okay. I'm trying to. Oh, just 7 success.
Just 7 success. Yeah.
And he sits and he kind of crosses his arms.
One
and his
advantage.
Oh, 7 success, 1 advantage. All right, so his arms are crossed and he kind of like runs his fingers up through his hair. Lets out a big sigh. And he looks up at you with these big glistening black eyes. And he's like, I need a drink. You want a drink?
We'd all love one.
I could use a drink. How many you want?
Well, this one drinks through her fingers.
I've seen Polis Mawsons do
Okay.
that. All right.
Make it 5.
5 drinks. And he goes to his fridge and he brings out these like neon green bottles. All right. Well, I hope I can trust you. I hope I'm not blowing this. All right. So my dad was a cybersecurity officer for Sorsub. He was involved in an incident 10, 12 years ago. Some lacks of defense in the cybersecurity. Information got out that wasn't supposed to. Some Sorsub consortium data got stolen. My father was ultimately deemed responsible. There's a huge investigation. The consortium was involved. Even the Empire. Search for what got stolen. Ultimately, Chairman Bribbs decided to crack down on all the Sullustans. They were deemed at fault. My dad got sent to Kessel. I haven't seen him since. Like I said, from there, for Mom, I needed to make money. Dad was gone. We moved out here to full sub, got a small apartment. Here it is. And well, Brandy took me under his wing after Dad was gone. We worked at Source Sub, worked on transport freighters, and well, like I said, Brandy went on to work for some larger shipping, and I came here after the Source Sub National Guard, and I've been working as a transit guard here. And my goal, the one thing I wanted to do, was to reclaim the name of the Crumbs. My dad, after Bribs had him sent to Kessel, the mark on our name has been like a blood stain. And I just wanted to do right and bring good back to our family name. And now you're telling me Brandy left and killed him. Oh my word. It's like we're cursed. But I've heard more things. I've heard that workers have been quitting the consortium. And I've heard these things. They're heavy hand on other worlds, this consortium. I listened to a speech by the council member, Cian Tev. He says muniless banking monies or monopolies are being used to choke out systems that won't cooperate with consortium business interests. You bring Ted here, who's been poisoned. I guess Brandy was right. We'll be known forever by the tracks that we leave. And I want good to come out of this. So Buck, how can I help, man?
We can start with that map.
Yeah. Well, I can show you this, and this is what I have. And remember, I'm no officer. Not yet. That's what I thought I wanted. I don't know now. But he pulls up a
Bud's
map.
weeping quietly to himself after hearing that story. Just tears.
All right. We'll go it over to roll 20. And basically, so he pulls up on the map, kind of this, and he on the data pad. He's going to kind of walk you through it. He's like, "What? How long have you guys been in system?"
2 days now.
Okay, so maybe have you seen much of Consortium? Do you know much?
Well, we saw
Or the Source Subs facilities.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of Source Sub. We saw the surface. We did some passing glances of the rail system and kind of the main entrance. I think we maybe observed one other docking bay a little higher up.
Sure, yeah.
But we were we were a little afraid to get too close.
Yeah. You need to be concerned about that because it's heavily guarded and it's heavily watched. increasingly the Empire and the consortium, heck, they're the same thing. But look, I don't know if this helps. I don't know if this doesn't help, but just watch this. So there's that main entrance off the landing pad, right? And I'm pressing my finger against the screen. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now that gets you into the main concourse of Sorosub. And that's where the consortium workers initially get in. There's usually a couple guards at that one. I've seen it. Now, once you're in the main concourse of the dual entry, then if you're going in the consortium that way, there's another guarded door you got to get through. And I've been through that area, and there's usually a couple guards there. Now, that train I guard, I do the screening. Some of the other guys I work with and direct do the screening, where our trains are divided right down the middle in two. On one side, you get screened to the consortium entry. On the other side, you get screened to the Sorosub entry, and you can't cross once you're in. But once that system pulls up to station, because it's been pre-screened, the people going to Sorosub go to the main entry of Sorosub. The people who've already been screened for consortium go into the consortium main concourse. From there, this is what I know. Laborers move off to the left as they come in, and you go into your designated entry halls. That's usually a card or the chips in our arms, depending on which team you're on, what you're doing. Like, for instance, us guards, we go into the far left hallway, scan in, go in, locker rooms, facilities, etc. People above me got to get through the high security door into the officer areas. That's the main entry of the consortium. Now, check this. This might be helpful. The overview, you've seen that big stalactite that consortium hangs from, right? In
Are we looking
Billerud,
at something?
it's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, this is the main consortium space. And inside that stalactite is the main consortium facility. And it's divided up like this. Can you see the screen that has the kind of donuts surrounding the pole?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Remember that officer area I showed you? That
Yes.
leads through to the main, or the first, kind of labs and offices of consortium. There's elevators that take the officers up to the officers' quarters, elevators, and central command. You've probably seen central command. That's the windowed polygon that kind of comes out like midway up that stalactite. You've seen that? You can't see into those dark windows, but that's the glass you see when you look at that area. Have you seen that? When you look at the
Yes.
stalactite, the glassed area that hangs out a little bit, that's central
Yeah.
command. And then up from there, I think I heard one of you say you've already located where that hangar bay is.
Mm-hmm.
And then above that, of course, is the magna rails, and those all go up to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's, at the end of all the magna rails are the little command centers that are subsurface. And remember, I don't know if you've heard, but once you go out to the surface, you don't get back in. You learn that real early. You would never want to go out to the surface unless you knew how you're going to get back, because, well, you die out there. Now, everything in blue here, if you're in as I understand it, if you're an officer or a higher up, you've got free reign of all this stuff. However, the laborers, supporters, almost like a multiple helix of tunnels that run around and behind the blue donuts of the main command center. Those are the passageways of the laborers, janitors, kitchen staff, hairdressers, what have you. They go into their individual tunnels and they set up shop in the circumference around the donuts. They can't. It's hard to get in, and I know if you get in, you're escorted, you're watched. But they are in a series of tunnels that run like helices around the donut areas. Does this help at all?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I didn't know there were tunnels inside the
It's all carved out of the stalactites.
Yeah. And you just said that all the laborers are pretty much escorted at all times, even say cleaning crews and that sort of thing.
They're watched close. They're watched close. I've heard they oftentimes even have timers. They can only be in a system for a section for a little while, and then they're recalled.
I think our target's going to be Central Command.
Whoa, really? How are you going to do that?
Do they have technician crews? Do you know if they have? Would they be classified as laborers?
Like what kind of technicians, Mookie?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, yes. As far as I know, from Sullustan, there's at the dock that I run at the train station. I've seen, there's a couple of guys that are energy shield technicians. Some of the shipping facilities use carbonite tech. So some of those technicians, a few Ugnaughts do that. I've seen them come through. Is that what you were wondering?
Yeah, and they would also be closely watched.
Yeah, they would.
Mm.
They come in through the things that come in through the laborer door.
Yeah,
you're watched. It's a tight ship. Unfortunately, after my dad's experience, a decade ago, everything got tighter. Everything got tighter, and well,
you think if
anybody
looking like how I look, but I was wearing an officer uniform, would that be an immediate dead giveaway that I did not belong there because I'm a Polis Masan?
Well, I haven't seen a lot of most of the main commanders I've seen since the Empire took over are humans, and just by nature of being here, there's a tons of Sullustans, but some of the occupational medicine physicians are Polis Masan. Sure. They're considered officer status. I've seen them.
Okay.
Not many of them live out here with us bottom dwellers, but they've got the ritzy apartments out there in Billerun, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll come out here for shows and things like that. I've seen them.
Okay.
Merbert, you mentioned something, a name that rings a bell.
Yeah.
You said that when your father was indicted, it was Chairman Bribbs.
Sure was.
Can you tell me
my
about
dad
Chairman?
Kessel.
Can you tell me about Chairman Bribs? What was he? Who was he? What was he in charge of?
I was
Why did he nail your
I
father?
was just a kid. He's he's one of those guys in consortium that owns 12 space yachts, right? CEO, CFO, UFO, FIO. I don't even know what letters you use, but he was a director, and well, that data got out, and he blamed cybersecurity for it, and took his wrath out on my dad and several of the other workers. And that was the last I saw him. Shipped off to Kessel.
Vod kind of leans over and mumbles to Ted, "Is that the guy whose name is on your fancy spaceship diagrams?"
Yeah, that's the name. I mean, could be that guy or somebody related. Or how common is the last name Bribs? Probably not very common.
It's up to you if you want to ask him more. Don't want to spill your secrets, Luz.
Well, my name's actually Pep Urjar.
Yeah.
But it's all good.
But your friends call you Luz, I know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd like to know more about this Bribs character, if there's more to know. So.
Cool. Just thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he doesn't come to the sticks too often, Ted. He either lives in his ivory tower or who knows where else.
Yep.
Every now and then he'll be on one of the corporate reels, right? Keep your head up. Serve the consortium. Serve the empire. He's a real imperialist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think he's getting old these days, but he's still got his hands in a bunch of different pots. But back then he was, well, one of the myriad chairmen of Sora Sub and the consortium, and there's a lot of, as I understand, there was a lot of his stuff that got leaked, and he was angry enough to make me never see my dad again. So he's around.
Was your
I
dad
don't like to
involved in
listen to
ship
him.
design?
My dad's a cybersecurity involved in
Stealth ships?
No, he protected our networks.
Yeah.
Protected our net connections. Keeping industrial espionage out of the loop until the day he didn't. And that was the end of him. Not a real happy story for me to tell.
Do you think you would have any advice for how to navigate through the computer system in general?
Me?
Or if your dad were here and wanting to exact some revenge on the consortium.
Yeah.
Tips up.
I don't know. Do you know, little one, what the life expectancy is for a Kessel prisoner?
I don't.
I don't either. But from what I've heard of that place, do you think he's still around? 10 years, 11 years later?
Well, probably not. But if we ever.
But I bet he doesn't have much of a sweet spot for the consortium if he's still around. Working in spice caves 18 hours a day till his hands are ground down to nubs. Yeah, I bet he would be interested in tapping a computer,
Yeah.
And well, back to the map. You said So all our labor people are escorted. Who are they escorted by? Are they just guards, Sullustan guards? Are they droids?
A little bit of both.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the consortium, the galaxy got real, well, right? After the Clone Wars and the droids, things got real sketchy to have too many droids around. People get real jumpy. Consortium doesn't really seem to. They've repurposed quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
see.
yeah, guard droids, security droids, you name it.
Yeah.
And it's not like it's not like a frog dog on a leash, but they keep an eye. They know when you go in and when you go out. For us guards working out here on the periphery, I feel like we have a little less scrutiny. But if I made a space donuts in the cafe, somebody'd be walking me up to the deep fryer every morning and walking me home.
You think it'd be a lot harder to impersonate, say, a guard than a labor person? Thinking
Go-
along the lines of like, well, these people are being escorted. Why not be the escort and the labor all in one?
Oof. Why not? How good of an actor are you?
Right. We're all actors, right?
You seem like it. You seem like you would be good actors. I feel that energy.
Life's the stage, Buck. That's right.
Well, then, hey, you mentioned all this info that got out years ago that your dad was held responsible for. Whatever
Yeah.
became of that? Is that information still out there?
Oh, I don't know, Buck. Dad didn't talk about his work very much. I don't know what was lost, what happened, but I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know anybody who would know? Was it probably Bribs, right?
Yeah, probably Bribs. I bet he knew enough to. Well, I remember it was a big deal. I was younger. It was 10, 11, 12 years ago. There was a lot of hubbub about that.
Mm.
Imperial was involved. That consortium was involved. There's an and I don't know though. They held
Well,
Dad for questioning, and then we lost him.
what about what about Brandy's dad? Or
Brandy's dad, he passed.
okay.
He's my Brandy's dad and my dad are brothers.
Yeah.
My dad was the youngest of the family. Of his family, Brandy's dad was the oldest.
Okay.
Brandy, my cousin, yeah, he ended up being kind of like my older brother after Dad left. He's older than me, or I guess was older than me.
Hmm.
Do you know anything more about officers and how they're getting in? We kind of know that they're getting, is it a chip? They're getting, scanned and that kind of thing.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Do you know where I showed you that final door that the officers go through?
Mm-hmm.
It's all biometrics. The consortium loves biometrics. And in the high security stuff, it's retinal scans, it's voice imprints, it's fingerprints. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Maybe all of them, maybe
Wow.
more, but it's all biometrics. So you got to get scanned and then you got a biometric.
So a
That's
pig
heavy.
nose costume that to
Yeah.
look like a Gamorrean guard doesn't. They'd see right past that. If you did the face in green and you did a pig nose, and you went like with that, you couldn't. It worked where I came from. That's a no. That's a no. That's
Wow. Maybe you could pretend to be a zinc skimmer from the surface, but I don't know. I don't know how that would pass in the guard scanners.
Do they do that right at the train station too when they get separated at the trains where you work?
No, we don't bother with that at the trains. They have to do that once they're inside. The
Once they're
final
inside
officer
and they
the
leave the
final
train.
officer door does the biometric part. Yeah. Laborers, they
Oh,
don't care
right,
so
right,
much about the
right. They don't go.
biometrics.
They don't bypass that. Yep, you're right.
Yeah. This page can be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're getting into the main concourse.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. And laborers, yeah, I mean, if you're Sullustan, they've just probably reprogrammed your arm chip. If you're an off-worlder, I think they all, they're always carrying their badges.
Badges. Yep.
so the badge is the way. They don't. They only badge. Is that their ID for off-worlders to like, or is it retinal scans
Yeah.
and badges and the whole
It
combo?
depends if you're a laborer or
Well, if you're an officer, you can't get around the biometric. And you got, to get your biometrics in the system, you got to be in the system.
So in theory, if I had some other worker's badge, and I grabbed an officer quietly by the neck into a closet, pulled out his eye, cut off his fingers. I don't know how to do the voice very well. That's tricky. I could get partway into the officer quarters, enough to get to the bathroom to take a shit. I mean, could I get through there, or is that a no-go zone? Is it that tight?
I would say that walking up to the office area, biometric scanners with a bloody hand that it was not your own might raise eyebrows.
Tucked quietly into. I've got a storage pouch. Yeah, okay, right. The idea though is like that's not easy to do. Eyeballs and fingertips. Yeah. The theory's there though, guys. I think the theory's there.
So Merber,
I think for getting into that stalactite, the donuts and the helices, from what I know, it's a heck of a lot easier to get into the helices than the donuts initially, if that makes any sense.
Pose as workers rather than chop off fingertips and eyeballs. Got it.
I mean, between the two, or
so Merber, you talk about the system. If we wanted to get our biometrics uploaded into the system, can we do that from outside of the consortium somehow? Do you know of any way that?
Oh, no way. They're too tight for that.
I mean, is this something they would do at Central Command?
Maybe. I'm not sure. I've never had access to them scanning biometrics, but we've never had to do it in the labor area. And I don't know where that would be. Maybe it's in Central Command. Maybe it's in the labs and offices. Maybe a secretary does it. I don't know.
You don't think a secretary somewhere else on the planet would be doing it? It would be inside.
No, it would be inside. Yeah. But that would be powerful. You could get yourself on a consortium ship if you could get the biometrics inputted.
Fingers and eyeballs, my friends.
All right.
Speaking of
You
Merbert,
guys want another drink?
if you want to join our secret club, the initiation rite is we take pinkies. You want to put your pinky out? I'm just messing with you, man. Just messing with you. Just
Well, that's
messing with you.
that was like
Just messing.
when in Cyberpunk towards the end when that guy dreams that he turned,
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
from that,
That whole
right?
thing was about sacrifice. That's kind of why I was probably thinking about the pinky. It's kind of
Sure.
giving a part of yourself up for the bigger picture.
Yeah. The Claw
The
Gang where they
cyberpunk.
just cut up. Yeah, they cut off their pinkies and they're the Claw Gang and they don't have and they burn that part down. That makes them like quicker with their lasers. I like that part.
Yeah. I have to admit, I did audio. I didn't actually. I'm not a good reader, but it was a great story.
Oh yeah, the audio. No, I listened to it during. Yeah, I listened to the audio as well. Taj Recker, the grand actor, was the one who did that. Did the audio on that? Did you know that?
If you have anything I can borrow while I'm here, I've got another few days. I'd love to see any, read any, listen to any. Maybe a more audio story would be good.
Have you read the Kowakian Monkey's Uncle?
No.
Same
As in the
same
monkey
author.
lizard?
Yep. Same author. Bee's Tit.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yep.
If
Sure.
I mean, sorry, I don't know if you're offering, but
no, you should borrow it. No, this was Tit's second book.
Nice.
Yeah, the Kowakian Monkey's Uncle. Yeah, I have it on audio. Do you want audio?
Yep. Only way to
Cool.
fly.
Yeah, this was the first one that Taj Recker narrated.
Yeah. Awesome. Are you sure you don't want to get your pinky chopped off? That's cool.
No, I don't.
Okay. I know. Joking. Really, I'm joking.
Yeah. How close are you to promotion?
Say that again?
You weren't getting promoted in the next few days to become like an officer, were you?
Not the next few days. But, I mean, hopefully someday. And I'd appreciate if, well, no offense, but depending on what you're planning to do, I would appreciate if you don't know me.
Don't worry.
At least, or if you do know me, you give me enough heads up that it's time for me to go live on,
We'll be discreet.
Ariadu or
There's no need to share our connection with you. We'll be fine. You'll be fine.
But seriously, guys, this is my comm channel if you needed me. But are there other questions I can help with or thoughts that you would need help with?
Well, so we know Numbnuts is a chop shop. I look over at Jewel.
Sure.
And
Spannons.
Yeah, Spannons. But are there any other places around town that you recommend we like get some gear to help pass biometric scans?
Pass biometric scans?
We're talking spycraft. Right, Vod?
I don't how to pass a biometric scan without your own biometrics involved?
Yeah, like some place that sells gadgets, spycraft.
We're talking about not biometrics, but recorders. Is that what you're talking about, Ted?
Well, I mean, if there's something that can fool the scanners.
Oh, right. Other biometric imitator. Yeah.
I'm not very up on that. Do you have something specific that you're looking for?
Oh, well, I know Vod was talking about. Vod, do you know anything about things that can fool?
sometimes there's some basic toy shops that sell recording devices. We're probably looking for something more high tech, something that might be not what they sell, but what one of their employees might know a little about, how to mimic biometric projection devices.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody who works in the black market with like some restricted items.
Yeah.
Like a
Something easy though. We don't like something where all we need is like a pinky.
Yeah, I think this is a big city here. You know of anyone who can get things that aren't normally found on the open market?
mhm.
Like pinkies.
Well, if I knew exactly what you're looking for, I might be able to think of something. But
Maybe a fingerprint mask.
fingerprint mask. Hmm.
I mean, yeah, I think it was in one of the other books you have on your shelf. There is that spy.
I'm looking.
You're thinking. Yeah. He goes back and he has this thing that disguises yourself. There's versions of it where you're entirely cloaked, but others where your disguise is actually you're biometrically cloaked, if you will. Something along those lines. Rather than camouflaging yourself entirely in a visual suit, you camouflage yourself entirely in a biometric electronic platform.
Yeah.
And it doesn't involve chopping off pinkies or eyeballs or any of that.
You're talking about like
Straight
retinal
electronics.
implants?
That's
Not that.
part of the platform. Yeah.
I mean, there's
some of the larger models you could probably fit in a rectum, but there's also smaller ones too.
I mean, what your pale friend was talking about? What the
liar?
Squeeba, the band, remember them?
Sure. They were playing the other night in front of Numbnuts, was that right? Or no?
Yeah, well, one of their one of the things that makes them unique is their lead singer has a vocal emulator.
Sure.
And I'm not a spy. I'm not trained in the coverts, but I know that one of the cool things about Squeeba is their lead singer can sound like Rari Roof, can sound like Wuha, Jorbs, and just does that by they do something to sound exactly like them.
Bring in a vocal emulator, tear out an eyeball, cut off a finger, and we're kind of covered. But it's going to be pretty messy. Yeah.
All right.
I don't think that's the way. I think we take the janitor stairs up the spiral outside. Forget the officer quarters.
They might, they live a couple blocks over. They might know where they pick that. I don't know where they got it, but they're local. Do you GM backstep Do you want to roll to see if you can find a vocal emulator implant on this planet?
I don't think so right now. I think
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it
really
was eyes and
sidetracked.
fingerprints. What is it? Is it voice, eyes, and fingerprints?
He mentioned voice.
It's all
too.
kinds of things, and different levels of security, I think, use different ones as far as I know.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have no idea really. It could be a
Okay.
genitalia on a scanner for all we know.
Wow. Well, good luck on that promotion if you don't know. I'm sorry. Sorry.
What?
That was mean.
You wanted to be a Central Command guard. I don't know.
Yeah, they scan eyes and fingers and voice.
Oh, all right.
But different levels of security, it might be different ones of those.
Sure. Different combinations. So potentially.
But in terms of knowing where to find something that will fool a retinal scanner, that's not my bag.
How about this? Side note. Do you know, is Brip still on planet? Could we, find him?
I have no idea.
Okay. Because I've got a question or two for that guy. Mostly about what he did to your dad, but...
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah,
Bring him here when you find him.
That's awful. I'll tear off his pinky when I find him.
Yeah, turn him into a claw gang. Yeah, that'd be great.
Right?
And yeah,
Cyberpink.
And chapter
Good.
Chapter 3. Can you yeah, exactly. Can you can you put the X mark brand on both his eyeballs?
Nipple. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh man.
Better yet, put my name on his eyeball, so anytime he wakes up, he sees my name in red on his ceiling.
Wow.
Crumb.
Wow.
Crumb.
You're nasty. Remind me to do that.
Promise
later,
me you'll do that
somebody.
when you find him.
We'll do our best.
Your name inside of eyeballs, so when he closes it, that's fucking good. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Chapter 3.
Merbert.
Yeah. I'm borrowing that from B's tit.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks for the booze.
Yeah, thanks. We might check back in with you, but thanks.
You've got my comm. You've got. Do they have your comm and Spanning? Yeah.
Jewel and the baby just hanging out while we're drinking.
They've just been kind of like, well, she cried for a long time by herself in the corner.
All right.
And she's kind of pulled herself together over the last few minutes, and it's kind of here's my comm if you need us. I'm sorry, I just haven't felt much like talking.
Mookie's gonna give Jules a hug and let her know if we can find a way to get you your pension, we'll get it for you.
Nice. Is there? Oh, thank you, little one. And the and Port just just bleh, like down his chin. He just kind of spits up a little bit of green milk. Not a lot, but just enough to give you like a little green milk yarmulke on the top of your head.
Oh, nice.
Oops, sorry. Oh God, Port. He still does that. The doctor says he'll grow out of it, but he's a spitter. They call him a happy spitter.
You know, Mookie can taste that.
As she's wiping it off her head.
Yeah.
Sorry about the lie there, buddy. No.
You had me going for a second. I was feeling what a whirlwind of emotions this afternoon has been.
Well, I just I have a hard time with people and socializing, and I don't like emotions, so I try and avoid them.
You have to.
But my friends didn't really think that was a good idea, I guess.
Well, it's probably best not to lie about people's husbands who have died when they're right in the room. But that's Sullustan courtesy, and I'm not sure where you are from. Maybe there are different rules.
Yeah, with me and my animals, we kind of just whatever goes. It's a little different with my people.
You're an animal lover, eh?
Yeah, can't you see the group I'm with?
Have you ever seen a tufted globnarch?
Well, I've heard stories of them, and I try and keep my distance
Well,
for obvious reasons.
Look, it's a tufted globnarch pup. Come here. It takes you back to a room, and in this cage is this little like puffball. And come here, get down. Look, it knows its name. Hey, buddy, say it. See? His name's DB.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh, you're gonna have to meet my quacking monkey lizard, Control.
Oh. You have a quackian?
Oh yeah. He was on the disease ship that our friend Ted there, found the disease. He was disease free though. It's all good.
You do not want to have him out in Billerun. You know what they do with quackians in Billerun?
No.
Eat them?
They eat them.
Oh, I just said.
Yeah, you want to keep them under wraps.
Didn't we just eat at a food stand, bud? Oh no.
Yeah, they usually sell. They're usually straight. They usually bread them, and they're on a long stick. It's a pretty common street food. They usually cook them over a little magma. Roast them up.
I'm gonna be sick. And it runs out.
I hear they taste like bantha. Is that true? Do they taste just like bantha?
Oh,
that's bantha. I've had bantha. They do. They're a little bit. You gotta keep them a little bit rare, or they get stringy.
Mm-hmm. A little more goat-tall-y. A little more goat-tall if they aren't.
I've never eaten a goat-tall.
I mean, you know how they smell, though. You know how they smell. It's a flavor of like the goat-tall smell in the meat. Yeah.
The overcooked Kowakian monkey lizard does taste a little bit like a stinky goat-tall.
Bantha with goat-tall.
I buy that.
Smell.
Yeah, sure. I'm never gonna.
I'm hungry.
The next goat-tall that walks by my gate, I am not gonna think of him the same ever again.
Yeah, it does ruin the holidays there for sure. Anyone hungry? No.
Pass.
Well, we've got your number. We appreciate it.
What is your do you mind me asking, what are you trying, what do you need this information for anyway?
Top secret. Sorry, I remember it.
I understand.
Come on, Ted.
I mean, I'll tell you.
Sorry,
I don't know if you'll believe me.
Colonel.
I might not.
Fuck. Mustard.
Fuck. Just call me. They already.
No, what's Ted's? What's this guy's name
Oh.
over here? The blue one.
Pepper?
Pepper.
No, it's Pep Urjar.
Pep Burjar. I was
Mr.
thinking Colonel
Urjar.
Mustard for some reason.
No.
Pep Burjar. Got it.
We got
Come on,
Kooky
give him
here.
give him the skinny, you guys. Not the
Well,
whole skinny, but
You
Remember-
don't have to. Yes.
You don't seem to be as rebellious as your brethren, like your cousin and such, but I understand you're just trying to make ends meet by working for an evil corporation. But
Wow.
Feels like
Ted, come on.
hey, the truth does hurt sometimes, though. It
You're a
really
little
does.
too honest.
But Ted speaks it.
honesty.
I think
Um,
Young. He's
well,
should we show Bert the Mon Mothma's video? You think that might inspire him?
Maybe. Let's show him the Mon. But Ted's right.
You have a
Brandy
record-
had courage. He didn't hide behind an
Well,
income.
I kind of took the easy way out there, guys.
yeah.
He didn't keep the system going, though. He was depressed. Yeah, okay, we can, yeah. But he said no. He said no.
He did.
If
He
you
did.
gave that guy the codes to get in and mess up this consortium, he would have done it. He probably felt trapped in a corner, but he was done.
Mm-hmm.
No more scanning passes and pushing people through and taking a paycheck. He knew planets were being burned, civilizations destroyed, entire peoples being wiped out. He said no. But it's okay. I understand you. It'd be nice to retire someday into one of the upper stalactites with a nice view. But I think that's what my friend Ted was trying to say there.
Yeah.
Pep.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to know what we were trying to do.
You're trying to take down the consortium?
Yeah. Yeah. We're trying to take down the consortium because they're trying to do things that are pretty bad for the galaxy, you know?
I should start looking for another job. Because you guys seem pretty serious about this.
Yeah. Well.
You think you got the muscle to do that?
We've got the brains.
We just don't have the eyes and fingerprints and voice, apparently.
Right.
But vodka, I think, can help us out with that.
No, guys. I've just got the brains covered. One big chop on the skull.
I mean, Mookie, if you get into a computer terminal, you think you can get all of our biometrics in?
That's what I was thinking. If we go in as laborers, as technicians, get our metrics uploaded into the system, sneak out, walk back in the front door.
That'd be pretty nice.
That kind of is what makes sense to me. There's no. That seems like the only way to get through that if we want to have kind of a free reign as officers. Maybe go in ahead of time, get our biometrics uploaded a day before.
Mhm.
So the day of, we just walk
Get
right
right.
in. Just walk right in.
Yeah.
If I have maybe one pass as a technician at the computer, I'm not sure if that's possible, but we got our biometrics uploaded, walk in the next day, right
Mhm.
through the front door, go right back to the computer and sit down and get done what we need to get done.
I think that's the end, right there.
Never heard you so confident, Mookie. I like it.
I think we can do that.
Well, maybe we should put all our biometrics on a data pad and you can hold on to it.
Yeah.
That's safe, right?
Yeah. I think
I've got a mem card in my boot
the
still.
ship, so that should be easy.
Fair point.
I've got a little small mem card at the bottom of the sole of my boot.
Muted. Greg, you're muted.
Oh, let's try that again. Sorry. I've got a mem card in the bottom of my boot we can use as a storage. It's pretty small. That'll work.
Yeah,
Wow, that would take some, as far as I know, that would take some kind of computer programming. I think they usually just do all that stuff in a lab in there.
What do you mean? Like, couldn't we upload some scanned biometrics, like codes?
I don't know that much about computers. I know usually somewhere inside the consortium main facility, you just go into a room and they take those scans and do those pictures and get you in the system. But you guys seem to know what you're doing, so maybe you can just figure out how to do that on the consortium system.
Mm-hmm.
You can get by all the cyber security, that is.
We're probably overthinking
Well,
for sure.
Do you know of any laborers that would be in close contact with computers that maybe you've seen come and go?
Like who gets the farthest in to the blue donuts?
Yes, where maybe a computer terminal would be. Maybe there's none.
Well,
maybe you know.
in the laborers areas, we just get these little things. Not much going on those. You can play Huber Solly. You can download that app, but you can listen to audiobooks. That's always kind of nice on a long shift. But who gets the farthest in? I don't know. Maybe the carpet always needs vacuumed, right?
Yeah.
And
Computers should be wiped.
there's usually some insulation to be installed in the roofs, right? Pest control. I mean, there's people that get in. I just know that they keep them on a close watch clock oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
But laborers go in. They don't have free reign. But yeah, you're thinking you get to the biometric lab and scan yourself in instead of cleaning a bunch of Sullustan toilets?
Well, we're not gonna. Yeah.
Maybe that's one angle.
Yeah, that's a.
There's been worse ideas.
I think we need to just get somebody inside on the laborer side.
Do you think
well,
something like royal gifts presented would be, bring in a legendary Koikian monkey lizard or a pet sarlacc or just sort of an animal husbandry expert? I mean, is there ever,
Like,
you probably don't know. You've only been on the train. It's okay.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far you get with a Kowakian monkey lizard gift. My guess is they're so tight in there. My guess is not far. They'd say thank you at the front door and they'd take it the rest of the way themselves, is my guess.
Yeah. We're thinking a little too far outside the box. We're like in the dungeon.
Well, you had mentioned that laboratory. Would that be within the central command level? Where they scan in biometrics?
Yeah, all the biometrics that I'm aware happen inside the blue donuts.
Yeah.
In the lab.
But the lab specifically...
I usually in the that stuff, as far as I know, that stuff happens at biometric labs. Have you guys ever had to go into one of those before? In any of your jobs?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay. I think they put your eyes in, do your voice, fingerprints, that kind of stuff. That's how I understand those work.
So you're saying that really getting up through the low contract labor side tunnels is really the most likely way we're going to get anywhere.
As far as I know, that would be the lowest security. You just need to get into the consortium area, main concourse, and then you just need a badge to get into. If you're posing as a group of, I don't know, tug pilots, then you'd have your badge and you'd scan back into that, and then that's where the locker rooms are. Usually there's some mild facilities there, and then you take your elevator up to the hangar if you were a tug pilot, for an example. But that just you just need as an off-worlder, you need a badge, you need a card to scan in. If you're trying to get in the officer quarter, you'd need that badge as an off-world, but you'd also need your biometrics. But the only way to get your biometrics that I know of is to get to a biometrics lab. The only one I know of for consortium is in the consortium main frame.
Can you tell us a little more about the cards then? I mean, if we try to get in using the cards, what information are they? So they're sending a level that we're kind of being sent to, where we're being escorted, that kind of a thing every day.
Yeah, it's just who you are and the service industry that you represent.
Sure.
If you were a painter and you painted the facilities, you'd go in through the probably the system maintenance door, and you'd have a system maintenance card. Maybe if you were a Rhodian painter, off-worlder, you'd have your card, you'd scan in. But then from there, who knows? How good are you at stealth?
Yeah.
Can you sneak around? Could you
avoid the
pretend
guards?
you had a paint bucket, but then turn left when they thought you were going to turn right? Could you distract the guards for a second? I don't know, but you could get in. You could be in the donut. But I don't know.
That,
you
we
get
would
us a
need
card
cards,
somehow?
though.
Yeah.
What's that?
But to do that, we would need cards that would be scannable and accurate.
Yes.
And do you have any help? Kind of how we go about that? Getting your hands on some.
What kind of jobs have you guys done in your life? Have you ever had to get something off of somebody? You got a pickpocket in your group, or I don't know. How would you do that?
Let's just say my friend is a consortium hairdresser, and I swapped his badge. Could I get in through the shafts to get me up there and fib my way up, but mostly make my way with the badge through the doors that needed to open?
Well, if you had the card of a hairdresser, you could get through whatever doors that the consortium has decided to allow a hairdresser to get through. So I'm guessing you could probably get through the beautification door of the laborers, and wherever your beauty salon was located in the outer helices surrounding the Blue Donuts, you could probably get into that shop. Now from there,
the pilots up in the hangar bays, you know how they always want their hair done, their braids braided. You think that would be a okay?
If we can just get in the door, there are vents. There are vents. We can move through the vents if we need to.
There's a good chance a basic labor badge will get us a lot of places, potentially.
Sure. How well can you sneak? How well can you hide in the shadows? Looks like that little one over there could probably hide behind a bucket. I don't know.
A little bit bigger than a bucket. It'd have to be a bigger bucket.
I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. Probably a large potted plant you could hide behind.
Yeah.
Are you the sneaky? Are you the sneaky one of this crew?
Oh, not me, no.
Oh.
Believe it or not, it's me, the big guy.
You?
Nimble like a cat.
You sneak, huh?
Yep. A lot of sneaking is jumping high, posing when you need to pose like a plant. It's all sorts of mind tricks.
Yeah,
I'm an expert.
Yeah, I just ran heavy haulers when I was in the National Guard, but yeah, some of the some of the stealth agents, yeah, they were. It was pretty amazing how they could bend and twist and contort themselves into a shadow, and you couldn't even see them.
Mm-hmm.
So
When you were talking to
Street Lure, right?
Yep.
You serve?
Straight out of the Colony Wars. Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you this, when you were talking to Buck, I left an upper decker in your bathroom and you thought I'd been here the whole time. You see that? You didn't even see me leave.
I saw you do it. The bathrooms here are open. I just thought that was your culture to go into that part of the toilet.
Well, but you don't smell anything. You don't smell anything. That's how sneaky.
Oh,
I'm just saying,
wow.
I've got what it takes.
That's chapter 12. The spy who was so good he could turn off all of his bodily sense.
Mm-hmm. Watch what I can do with the mirror.
So we couldn't.
Do you have a mirror?
We couldn't see
Do you have a mirror?
or hear.
Vaughn looks around for a mirror.
Sense. SCENTS.
So he couldn't touch anything either.
What?
Ah,
He
it's a
smell.
joke. Come on, Herbert.
It's a good book.
Listen, Merbert. Mind if I call you Merb?
Merb, yeah.
We've got a group here with a really incredible set of skills. This guy, Buck, he can beat anyone on the holo table. I've tried. He's brilliant. And he can throw a dagger through your eye from about 50 meters. Whoa. This guy, the quiet, awkward one who lied to you a little earlier.
Yeah.
He can shoot. He blew up. Do you see how one braid's shorter than the other? That was 150 yards away. And I think he did it on purpose. I think he did it on purpose. Mm-hmm.
You shot him you tried to shoot him in the head?
And it hit a stormtrooper through the face. All right?
You've taken on stormtroopers?
He's in the way of an Imperial.
I'm just telling you. We've got a group
you
here
fought
that
the
has
Empire?
skills.
We've castrated the Empire.
Seriously, you've taken on stormtroopers?
You've heard
might as well claim the video now.
Yeah, go ahead, Mookie.
Yeah, do I have the video?
Mon Mothma?
Yeah. Hey, Merb.
Yeah.
You want to check this out? And Mookie hits play on the video of Mon Mothma. This is real heroism right here. She hits play.
That's the senator that resigned, right?
Yeah.
And the screen comes up and it plays her thing. Do you know her?
We don't know her personally, but we think it's a pretty cool video.
We know her cause.
But you work with her.
It's about the cause. It's about the cause, Merbert. Just like Cyberpink. Pinky.
The cause. Do you have a name?
Yeah. We're the incinerators.
The incinerator.
Pretty cool, right?
Fighting against the consortium.
Yeah, lopping off nuts left and right.
Say, do you have any Sarlacc food?
Sarlacc, which are those?
I know, your mind is blown right now, Merbert. I want you to think about this. We're going to call you tomorrow, and I want you to rethink what you're doing with your life, okay? We're going to call you. The world just exploded for you. It's a bigger place, a bigger universe, and it's not about tyranny and corruption and greed.
We might be able to set up a meet and greet with Mon Mothma if you really, help us out.
Yeah.
What?
It's about...
What more do you need?
Pinkies and monkey lizards and a good book.
Are you friends with any comm officers?
What's that?
Are you friends with any comms officers? You know anybody?
See any
Comms officers. I don't. I'm not. I know. Every now, yeah. You know, no, I don't have any. I'm not buddies with any comms officers.
All right.
Do you see
Are there
anybody
any
that
that you don't
comes
like?
in? Yeah, anyone that kind of needs a good shanking, you know, like wouldn't mind disappearing.
A lot of shanking going on.
Well, they're bad guys.
Roquan's referring to what you do with the banthas that you just want to be the non-breeding steer. He's gonna attach a
Yeah.
rubber band.
Yep.
Tight.
Yep. Real quick, like, you know, no cruelty involved, you know.
Huh.
3 days tops.
Yeah, I don't have a death mark on anybody though. You know, we've talked about that Bribs guy, but otherwise, I mean, there's a there's a girl I like over there at Hotel Laquana.
I don't know if we were really good at hooking people up.
Oh, hoping you could get me a date. But I don't have it out for anybody in the other way, I guess.
Well, I think you see what we're up against, Merbert. And we appreciate everything you've helped us with, and we'd love to help your family and the Crumb name become untarnished and clean, and maybe be avenged. So we thank you.
And when you're in that computer, if you could switch the pension button on for Jewel over there, that would help us out.
That's the whole plan.
Right.
We'll try to make it happen.
Herbert, is there anybody that you know of that you think could help us out, that you could put us in contact with?
So you haven't given me the details of what you want to do, but it sounds like you want to get inside the consortium.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've told you most of what I know.
Okay. You worked with transport freighters. Do you know much about how the ships come in and out with these transponders and the droid heads?
Well, every ship's got a transponder, right?
Right. But do you know much about how the ships come in and out of above the moon?
Are you talking?
The consortium ships.
Oh, the high security facility up there.
Yeah. Do you know much about that, or anybody who would know?
Ooh. Well, I know there's. I don't know much about the high security. I don't have that level of clearance.
Okay.
But the consortium, they keep most of their ships up in there in that one orbital docking yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where their main pool of ships is, up in that one. It's near Sullustan. And then they've got the other one, the high security one up there, where they do whatever high security shipping and receiving they're doing. I don't have access to any of that. And most Sullustans know to stay the heck away from there. But yeah, I mean, that some of that stuff originates. There's the other docking area where they keep the pool of freighters and ships, and that's secured, but it's just a different level of security in those yards. And it's mostly mostly tug drivers that move those ships around.
Hmm.
You know. Yeah, that's what I know. But they send some they'll send some tug pilots up out of the consortium hangar every now and then. I think they go up and they work their shift, moving freighters around with their tugs, and yeah. That's it's one of the labor doors, right? Tug pilots.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help? I don't know. That's what I know.
Yeah, that works. That helps.
Well, guys, it's been a long day of work. I think I'm gonna need to go to bed, and Port's getting a little bit rascally. I think he's needing to head back to bed too. You've got my comm link number. Is there anything else you need tonight? Otherwise, I'm gonna hit the hay.
No, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Herbert.
You guys want one for the road? And he pulls out one of those neon green bottles from the fridge.
I'm good.
Yeah.
No, but if I could take your little pet beepy meepy for my Sarlacc, I'd appreciate.
No. Get out of here.
Okay.
Get out of here. But did you get the Kowokian monkey's uncle?
Oh yeah. Oh, thanks for the reminder. Fod picks it up off the shelf. He's been eyeballing it the whole time.
There you go.
Thanks,
Enjoy.
man.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll talk about it when I see you next.
I hope to. It's a good one.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.
Fod gives him the pinky.
Yeah.
Bye.
What about
Fuck.
uniforms? Do you have any extra uniforms?
Oh, good idea, Buck.
Wouldn't be
Like what?
be willing to let us use?
I've got the 3 I cycle between.
Oh, thought Jewel had given you a bunch of Brandy's old ones.
Yeah, these are. I used to have 2. Now I have 3.
Oh. Well, you hang on to those.
Sounds
Okay.
like one good gig you got there.
Yeah.
Good luck with that promotion, though.
Don't
sure
tell
you'll get it.
anybody you know me.
Know who?
We won't.
Exactly.
Hey.
No problem, Marvin.
Jewel, you headed back with these guys? All right. Well, stay safe, guys.
You too.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shuts the door. And in real life here, I'm probably going to have to wind it down as Merbert.
Yeah.
Say the word and we can end the stream.
As they say in chapter 8 of Cyberpunk, all good things must come to an end, but they'll come back, just like the Kurds will next week on the Shepherd Sling.
Woo.